the body-mind interface is not, there's not much separation. And for me, one of the things I talked about in the way of integrity is that when we lie, our bodies get very weak. So, like I could do a simple little hokey test with you where I could, oh, you want to do it?
Of course.
Okay. So stick your arm out.
Yeah.
And hold it up. Don't let me push it down, okay?
Don't let me push down.
Yeah. Okay, got that. Now, I want you to do that while lying. And the lie I'd like you to say is, I love to vomit.
Okay. I love to vomit.
Say it holding your arm up.
Yeah.
Say it.
I love to vomit. Why? That's so weird.
Now say, I love fresh air.
I love fresh air.
I'm trying my very hard. Let's say it again.
I love fresh air.
Now say, I love to vomit.
I love to vomit. Why is that? That's so strange.
This is why polygraph machines work on everybody with psychopaths.
Just for people that couldn't see that because they were listening, when, I don't know if I've just been like messed with in some way, but when I said I love to vomit, she could push my hand down. Mm-hmm. But when I said I love fresh air, she couldn't push my hand down. And she was trying both times. She was pushing hard both times. And I would think that I'd be able to resist both forces. But when I said I love to vomit, it was like, the only way I can describe it was I wasn't actually connected to my strength and my hand.
Exactly.
It was like I was inside my head, so I couldn't also at the same time think about you're about to push me.
Right.
It was like there was two different systems.
Yes, because the body lives in reality. The body is honest. Only the mind and only the verbal mind can lie to us and tell us things that we can believe even though they're not true. So I love to vomit is a statement that says it's okay for me to feel horrible. But a smaller version of this is I often speak to groups, and often they're in like hotel ballrooms or in auditoriums. And I'll stop right in the middle of the speech and say, apropos of nothing, is everyone comfortable? And they'll say, yes. And no, really, truly, are you genuinely comfortable? Are you really comfortable? And they say, yes, go on with your speech. And then I say, so how many of you, if you were sitting at home alone, if you were at home alone right now, how many of you would be in exactly the position you're in at this moment? And nobody raises a hand. And then I say, why not? And they have to sit and think for a long time before someone finally says, I'm not completely comfortable this way. And I would say, well, that's okay because humans can tolerate a lot of suffering, and this is mild. What concerns me and should concern you is that 30 seconds ago, you swore to me in broad daylight that you were absolutely comfortable. Well, you knew you weren't. Your body knew you weren't comfortable, and your mind was doing this little trick where it goes very quickly through this. Okay, in order to listen to speeches, we sit in uncomfortable positions, and that's okay because it's worth the benefit we get out of it. So given that, I am tolerably comfortable. But all you think is, I'm comfortable when you're not comfortable. So people come to me and they're in jobs where they're not comfortable, in relationships where they're like sometimes in intense suffering, in religions where they're not comfortable, in all kinds of places. And they think they're comfortable, but they're getting sick. They're getting physically sick, or they're getting addicted to a substance because they're trying to numb the discomfort they won't acknowledge. And so pretty much all I do is help people get in touch with a really, really benevolent friend called suffering. When you know what makes you suffer, you're getting accurate information from your entire neurological system about what's working for you and what isn't, and what would be better, what would be more comfortable, just a little bit. And if you keep correcting, I call them 1-degree turns, I would be a little more comfortable doing this. So I did it the run off a cliff method. Don't do my way. Do the 1-degree turns. If you're in an airplane and it turns 1 degree north every half hour, over 10,000 miles, you won't even notice you're turning, but you'll be in a completely different place. Mm-hmm. And that's just noticing. Oh, this isn't very comfortable for me. I would rather do this. You know, my girlfriend is anxious. I could break my back trying to figure out what's going on and getting her enough presents to make her happy. Or I could go in the other room, sit down, be gentle with myself, maybe do a little writing about how I feel. That would be a little more comfortable.
It almost feels like we've been trained not to listen to how we feel.
100%. 100%. As Sir Ken Robinson says, we're trained to think of our bodies as mechanisms that take our heads to meetings. That the meetings are all important and our heads are all important. And all of the rest of our evolution is meaningless to us. That's a very left hemisphere dominated way of thinking. And that's why Ian McGilchrist says we live like people with right hemisphere strokes. We're not even in our bodies. I think maybe you are more than most people. The way you talk about it and the way you've made decisions really, it speaks to me of a person who finds what's right for him. Very, with a lot of integrity.
Yeah, well, I think, one of the things the reason I say that is because I've been saying on stage and I wanted to see if you thought it was true, this idea, because people ask me all the time, they ask me about meaning and purpose and what decision they should make and should they quit their job or quit the relationship. And my response for the last, I'd say 12 months has just been to try and impress upon them that they were born with this thing inside them, which is how you feel. Yeah. And you've learned not to listen to it because your mother's opinion of which university you go to has like superseded it and Instagram has. But I know it's there because I know like evolutionarily, you wouldn't be here if your body didn't have signals to tell you to run, to tell you to be scared, to tell you to move away from this person. Yeah. So I know it's there, but you just probably tuned it out. Yeah. And I say that to people, and I've almost never asked them if that resonated with them, but I've just been saying it for a while. So I don't even know if it's like true, but it's just how I experience life. Because my decision, like the reason why I'm sat here now is because of I quit a lot of stuff.
Yes.
So like, and I quit, people go, oh, you're so young. It's like, actually, it's not that I made great decisions. It's just, I think the skill of quitting was one that just came naturally to me. So like, I don't like being at school. I stopped going. I don't like university. I left after the first lecture. I started a business, did it for 2 years, quit that business out of the blue, started another business, did that one for 6-7 years, quit that one out of the blue.
I love it.
And it was all like, I didn't need to have a place to go to. I didn't need to have like a better option. It was just, this doesn't feel good.
I love that.
But that's kind of running off the cliff.
Yeah, like, it is a bit. And the thing is, the costs are high and the rewards are high. Yeah. If you go gradually, you're going to get a smaller amount of gain, by the year. If you run off a cliff, you can have a really rough ride, but you might come out with a lot of positives. And your skill of quitting, it reminds me, if people come to me, I try to give them all the value in one session, like hear this and go away. All right, take notes. If you don't really want to do something and you don't really have to do something, don't do it. Now, give me my money and go. Because that's the whole thing. If you don't want to do something and you don't have to do it, don't do it. And that's a really quick way to find out what you do want.
What if you don't want to do it, but there's something telling you that you have to? So it could be like a horrible work meeting or that event you've been invited to with that person, which you don't particularly like anyway, that baby shower you don't want to go to.
So you have to get more and more attentive to what's going on inside. And I think some form of meditation, whether it's expressive writing or painting or just sitting still, is very helpful at noticing these fine details. And I'm kind of joking when I say, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it, don't do it. But ultimately that's true. And the way you decide, there are things that you don't want to do, but you actually do have to do them. Not because people want you to, but because you have to do them. And the way I experience that, I like to describe it with something the Buddha used to say a lot. And that was, wherever you find a body of water, you can know if it's the sea because the sea always tastes of salt. And wherever you find enlightenment, awakening, your own truth, your path, you can always recognize it no matter what form it takes, because enlightenment always tastes of freedom. He did not say happiness. He did not say benefit. He did not say, mania, true love. He said freedom. And when I did not want to meet with my parents, for example, in my therapist's office. I was terrified of both of them. And of the whole community. My therapist could have been run out of business in the town we lived in. But if I had not done it, I would not have been as free. So I had to do it. But that's a really different, I have to do it, than my mother really, really would be happier if I became a doctor.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.